Technology Paradigm Shift and New Value Chain of China Electric Vehicle Industry, a Value Co-Creation Perspective by Connie and Hua WANG, Emlyon Business School. This presentation includes 8 parts. EV is on the front line of the transition of the global automobile industry. Chinese EV industry has experienced a quick commercialization and industrialization and has become the world's largest market. Core research question is, how do Chinese companies quickly make EV and thus turn China into the world's biggest EV country? 4 sub-questions formulated to answer the question practically. By answering the questions, we potentially fill in the theoretical gaps. Case studies approach is used with embedded multiple cases. Carefully selected 4 pairs of buyer-supply relationships between 2 OEMs, incumbent and startup, versus 2 suppliers, 1 global, 1 local, seeking for similarities and differences. Through literature review, gap identified as interaction of value co-creation within buyer-supply relationships on disruptive new product development from the perspective of supply chain management. We adopted the co-creation paradigm of value creation introduced by Ramaswamy and Oscar in 2014. China EV market starts with TCTV program in 2009. TCTV means 10 cities, 1,000 vehicles. 13 cities participated in the first year, 25 pilot cities the next year, and 88 pilot cities in 2015. Since 2016, China becomes the largest EV market in the world in terms of both manufacturing and sales. In 2021, market share of new energy vehicles in China is 13.4%, higher than the 8.3% market share at the global level. Among the total sales volume of world top 20 EV car makers in 2021, including Tesla, Volkswagen, etc., Chinese car brands achieved 33% of market share. Main players will be displayed later. Main EV car makers in China include 2 groups. Incumbents like BAIC, BYD, SAIC, Geely, JAC, GAC, Chery, etc. New players such as NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, and Zuema. Main EV component suppliers in China rose fast. For example, the battery suppliers. This is EV sales from 2012 to 2021, China versus global. This is global top 20 EV brands and sales volume 2016 to 2021. This is global EV battery shipments in 2021. Blue color are Chinese companies. 6 of top 10 suppliers are Chinese companies. China supply takes nearly half of the global market share. Case 1 is about incumbent OEM and its battery supplier. The relationship is complementary, reciprocal, and interdependent, interactional. Empirical material analysis conducted on 3 dimensions: capability ecosystems, engagement platforms, and experience domains, with a preliminary sense of shift on who, when, and how. The interpretation of the empirical material answered all the questions practically. Engagement platform is comprised of participating stakeholders of both enterprises and individuals, and the capability ecosystems. The interaction within buyer-supply relationships includes interaction within enterprises through upland and upland resource leverage and collaboration, and interaction with the stakeholder individuals at both field level and social level. consequence of collaborations through dialogue leads to value realization and then value appraisal. Based on the answers to sub-IQ 1 to 3, interactional engagement platform of DevOps in shaping with SaaS platform ecosystem and NAS platform ecosystem embedded in the larger EV industry ecosystem sustain a synergistic relationship. Case 1 is expanding from ICE into EV market communities in shaping best in mass platform ecosystem in shaping. Case 2 is about the startup OEM and its battery supplier. The relationship is interdependent, co-creative, and interactional. The interpretation of the empirical material answered all the questions practically. Compared to case 1, more participants at the engagement platform, and the interaction between the user clubs and the startup OEM has gone beyond the traditional buyer-supplier relationships. Case 2 is rush in from outside of auto industry. The business model innovation starts from day 1. The comparison shows case 1 expanded from ICE into EV market needs to balance the existing business units. Case 2 disrupted the auto industry with no historical burden. Answers to the core research question. Through interactional value co-creation within buyer-supplier relationships based on the engagement platforms, other stakeholders are actively contributing to the value co-creation as well, including public sector like government, electrical grid, etc. Social sector like associations with media, etc. And also financial citizens and community of consumers. Answers to sub-IQ 1, enterprises including private sector like OEM suppliers, SaaS solution providers, etc. Public sector like government, electric grid, social sector like associations we needed. As a nexus engagement platform, stakeholder individuals, including employees, buyers, suppliers, competitors, financials, citizens, etc., as co-creators. The engagement platforms are formed based on dynamically evolving enterprise architectures and management systems adapted to the change of the industry environment. Sub-IQ 2, the answer is interactions within buyer-supplier relationship, including both interaction between enterprises of a buyer and supplier, and the interaction between individuals of a buyer and suppliers. Collaborative dialogue as a language, or we say tool. Interactions within enterprises through upland and upland resource leverage and collaboration. Interaction within stakeholder individuals at the field level and the social level as well. The interactions within buyer-supplier relationships are fulfilled. Answers to sub-IQ 3. All actors, both buyer and supplier, interact at the engagement platform. Community of practice and platform ecosystem are emerging. Co-created value is realized in the increase of resource, actors' satisfactions of successful product and service delivery, long-term partnerships, and sustainable supply. Answer to sub-IQ 4. Chinese company quickly make electric vehicles through interaction of value co-creation within buyer-supplier relationships. Best platform ecosystem and the mass platform ecosystem embedded in EV industry ecosystem creates more business opportunities, engage players across industry, ultimately enables a paradigm change in labor fraud, thus turns China into the world's biggest EV country. The difference of enterprises structure and background between case 1 and case 2 leads to different approach of business model innovation in building of ecosystems. We have new finding on the engagement platform. Engagement platform can mean all forms like retail stores, for example, case 2, live meetings, like both case 1 and case 2, community space in case 2. Based on such engagement platforms, interface of value co-creation, interrelation of value and value generation and value realization dynamically evolve and dynamically impact the outcome of value co-creation. The engagement platforms can be kept alive in embracing value co-creation consistently and across all functions within the organization and in the extended ecosystem. Based on the engagement platforms, the sub-platform ecosystem can be embedded in the larger ecosystem and sustain synergistic relationship. We also have another new finding. COPM platform ecosystem enables paradigm change in leapfrog. Best platform ecosystem in case 2 and mass platform ecosystem in case 1 embedded in the EV industry ecosystem and sustain a synergistic relationship. The buyer-supplier relationships dynamically evolve with the changes of environments. Community of practice and the platform ecosystem enables paradigm leapfrog and the technology paradigm shifts. The interrelation among the 3 facets of value, engagement platforms, the community of practice and platform ecosystem contributes to the overall human experience. The revelation from empirical material interpretation suggested that the value facets are dynamic. One facet changes with the change of other facets and vice versa. Moreover, in facing of the VUCA environment, incumbents and newcomer dynamically interact creates possibilities of a paradigm change in leapfrog. Theoretical contribution. First, the system of interactional value co-creation within buyer-supplier relationship is comprised of a series of processes such as resource leverage and collaboration among actors to co-create, consequences through collaborative dialogue, value realization, value appraisal. Improved situation is recognized in the form of increase in resources, competitiveness, agility, resilience, actor satisfaction, successful delivery to market, long-term partnerships, and the sustainable supply. Value of COP and platform ecosystem is realized. The platform ecosystem is dynamic and evolving with the change of the environment based on live and interactional engagement platforms of DevOps. Enterprises as the nexus of engagement platform, stakeholding individuals as value co-creators. The study extends value co-creation theory through dialogic approach of interactional value co-creation within buyer-supplier relationships from the perspective of supply chain management. Beyond domains of experiences, the value of a COPM platform ecosystem is realized in both cases. The interaction between user clubs and the startup OEM has gone beyond buyer-supplier relationship traditionally. Buyers and suppliers both are value co-create positive affects the performance of the disruptive new product development. Individuals is central to the co-creation experience. The findings suggest that Chinese EV industry is experiencing paradigm change in leapfrog. The trend of new product development is changing from research and development to connect and develop. New ecosystem is emerging. managerial contribution. First, enabled with mobile internet and digital technologies, consumers are no longer mere passive recipients, but active, informed, empowered individuals. The meaning of value shifts from product and services to the individual's experience of co-creation. The co-creation starts with interaction as the locus of value. It is about create with the users, and users are already there. Second, co-creation draws innovative ideas from customers, suppliers, employees, and other stakeholders at large. Co-creation increases the enterprise's capacity to generate insights and take advantage opportunities that they might not have identified, while decreasing capital intensity and by using networks and communities. The win-more nature of co-creation generates enhanced wealth, welfare, and well-being. The third, the engagement platform can come in all forms such as retail stores, lab meetings, community spaces, websites, mobile devices, and call centers. Building effective ecosystem by creating more value with the stakeholders. The co-creative capacities of technical, social, and enterprise architectures will be enhanced. The engagement platforms will be kept alive in embracing value co-creation consistently and across all functions within the organization in the extended ecosystems. There are also limitations with this study. First, this study focuses on interaction of value co-creation within buyer-supplier relationships throughout new product development process in the automotive industry. Future research can test some more industries. In addition, study on emergent shared leadership phenomena in which lateral influence across transboundary fusion teams during new product development in the context of a paradigm shift and new ecosystem emerging would be a worthwhile endeavor. Second, this study adopts a static view of the institutional environment. China as an integral part of the world economy. A close examination of different institutions such as geopolitics and how they affect the cross-country buyer-supplier collaboration is needed. Third, this study collected data from both buyers and suppliers in the automotive industries through several case studies and reduced possible indigeneity. But the indigeneity problem may still exist. Future research should consider different research design and test in more industries. Thank you.